this autism spectrum epidemic that we have in our country, and we've all been following this. There's been much debate about this. Yesterday was kind of a big day with some things that may or may not be a breakthrough. I certainly hope they are. I really do. And so looking at some of the things that were talked about yesterday, and I'll try to nutshell it because it's a lot, but let's go to what could potentially be good news. Cancer drug could double as autism therapy and is poised for FDA approval. This was the big press conference that Trump alluded to yesterday. Federal health officials noted the potential for an existing cancer drug to double as therapy for the neurodevelopmental condition better known as the autism spectrum. I can't pronounce it, but I saw Dr. Oz speaking on it and some others, and they're saying this is something that you and your doctor should discuss. There's also another concern, not that Tylenol is bad for everyone, but they are looking that there could be a tie that maybe women. The problem with this, and I remember, being the father of 5, I remember that my wife being told that don't take certain things while you're pregnant, but Tylenol's fine. And now they're going back going, well, maybe that was bad. That was bad advice for some women. So anyway, now that I'm not saying that that's official. I'm just saying that there seems to be some indicators there. I'm sure there'll be a big battle about that, and Tylenol, and they'll defend themselves, and we'll continue that. But there is some concern about that. Also, we have some clips. One of the things that honestly we've been saying for many years back on the Rick and Bubba days. I'm certainly not anti-vaccine, but I am for us to safely vaccinate. And some things we do, let's have a look at it, see if we're doing it the safest way. Some may not be the best. The way we do it may not be the best. Piling so many vaccines on a newborn baby, maybe we should spread those out. These are all things that were discussed yesterday. And here's President Trump talking about trying to vaccine maybe in a safer way with babies. Here we go.
And it's so important to me to see the doctor 4 times or 5 times for a vaccine. Don't let them pump your baby up with the largest pile of stuff you've ever seen in your life going into the delicate little body of a baby. Even if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you just break it up into, I would say 5, but let's say 4 visits to the doctor instead of 1. And certain things I think you should do. We've already taken out and are in the process of taking out mercury and aluminum now. You know what mercury is. You know what aluminum is. Who the hell wants that pumped into a body? And there were rumors about both of them for a long time. But we're having them taken out. We're having them taken out of the vaccines.
And while were they there, they acted as a preservative to give them longer shelf life. And so that's something people have been talking about. And I remember when people had the audacity, this is how it works so many times, to say, can we just look at we're not saying not to vaccinate. Let's be wise how we vaccinate, especially new babies. You are immediately labeled an anti-vaxxer. Anti-vaxxer! And to me, it wasn't good enough when doctors would explain why we went to the MMR and all that. When we would question it as parents, we were told, well, we can't get these parents to bring their kids back on the regular cycle, so we're just, while we got them, let's just load all of it into the baby while the baby's here. And I remember saying that's not a good enough reason.
No,
that was not the answer I was looking for.
No.
And why are we giving a newborn baby a hepatitis B vaccine? It's sexually transmitted.
In case they start doing intravenous drugs or baby.
Right, or either one of those, yeah. So then the other is here is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Greg, stand by, and talking about some of the things.
Here he comes.
About the therapy that. First of all, Trump on the Amish. Let me do this one first. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip that one. Here's Trump talking about the Amish. This has actually been a group of people that's, it's an interesting study because of the way they live their lives. they've pretty much been exempt from a lot of sickness that has affected the general population, and one of them would also be autism. So here we go.
Since 2000, autism rates have surged by much more than 400%. Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this
good point
complex situation. And the first day all of these great doctors behind me were there, I told them this is what we have to find out. Because when you go from 20,000 to 10,000 and then you go to 12, you know there's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism.
And the Amish pretty much have rode through every epidemic and pandemic too. They didn't have much impact on that either. So anyway, but I mean, you may say, well, I wouldn't want to live that way, so I'll just deal with it. But and then here's another one talking about that this possible cancer drug might be able to help children with autism, and there's a reason why. And RFK Jr. tries to explain that in a way that even maybe I can understand. So here we go.
Yeah. Research has revealed that folate deficiency in a child's brain can lead to autism. We have also identified an exciting therapy that may benefit large numbers of children who suffer from autism. Peer-reviewed literature has documented that up to 60% of folate-deficient children with ASD can have improved verbal communications if given leucovorin. I have instructed NIH, FDA, and CMS to help doctors treat children appropriately. Jay will help tell that story.
Leucovorin,
yeah. And this was a cancer treatment drug that may be able to help with folate deficiency, which they seem to be showing a tie to a deficiency in folate to being diagnosed with autism. So this goes back to the thing that we've been discussing for years. And of course, I've had people scream at me, "Oh, I can't even." I'm just simply saying, take a look at it. There could possibly be an insult because the numbers are skyrocketing. Maybe we can find that insult and maybe be able to treat that. And there are children in the autism spectrum that have gone through treatments even before these. Chelation to pull some of these heavy metals out, going through different therapies that all of a sudden that child got better. Well, if it was genetic autism, therapy shouldn't really accomplish some of the things that therapies have accomplished. Mm-hmm. So that means maybe it was an insult. And so we're trying to find that, and maybe folate deficiency is one of them. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't have that answer, but I'm saying I can be logical, just like being logical with the number of vaccines that you pour on a baby. Logical, Mm-hmm. So here is another one, speaking of the vaccines, but I think it's RFK Jr. again. Oh. And this time I think it's a full minute. Should we just say what he said?
We could just say what he said.
He said that 40 to 70% of mothers who have children with autism, they believe that their child was injured by the way that we do vaccines on babies. Now, you remember that some of the things that right now are being considered as research-producing evidence, when some people were saying this decades ago, you were called a loon. I mean, you were not allowed to say these things. Somebody with a good one on Text Nation, because the Trump administration is saying that Tylenol in pregnant women may be linked to autism. Now liberals are protesting, and they're going to start drinking them by the bottle. But
don't do that, folks.
Please don't do that. So we'll see. I mean, is it okay for all of us to kind of be hopeful that this tremendous, sadly, amount of children that are dealing with this rise in autism, that we could maybe find what could attribute to it and contribute to it, and maybe find some therapies to help? Can we all come off our high horse and I don't want to be told I might have been wrong, or how dare you question, and maybe try to see if we can't help and address this situation. Yeah. Can we just do that? That doesn't seem unreasonable.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, and
something RFK has pointed to.
And nobody's saying no vaccines. They're saying be wise how we vaccinate.
Let's just discuss.
And peer-reviewed studies and actually study it.
Yeah.
A lot of these vaccine companies can't claim that there are no side effects because they literally haven't studied it. And then the people approving these vaccines should not be the same people making money off of these vaccines.
Yeah, no, that is true. Right. Yeah, that leads to human nature struggles with that arrangement. Yeah. We'll be right back.